All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. It's been a while since I podcasted. I've been saying that a lot recently, and unfortunately, that's just been the season that it's had to be. So last podcast was probably more than a month ago. Yeah, 1 month ago, November 2nd. So yeah, pretty much more than 1 month ago. And so a lot has happened, if you can't imagine. November 22nd. Let me see what week of the NFL that was. NFL schedule. Because that's going to help me get a gauge of where you guys are at, so I can bring you up to date. That's mainly what I want to do today, is just bring y'all up to date, and let you know. Because I mean, like I said, a lot has happened. It's been a heck of a minute. So November 2nd, that would have been the week before week 9 of the NFL. So week 8. So we would have just wrapped up. My Wi-Fi is moving a little slow here. Apologies. Get it going on my phone here too. We would have just wrapped up week 8. And so in week 8, I beat Matthew. Luke beat up on Alex. Aiden got a win over Tristan. Matt beat Zach. And Aaron beat Connor. So pretty decent week. Since then, a lot has changed. We're in the playoffs. We had a couple trades. Actually, when did that trade go down? It had to have been after week 8, I think. And we've got some drama on the horizon. Yeah, it was okay. So first off, just to I guess talk about, I don't know where to start. Yeah, where do we start? I guess let me take a look at the week 8. Who was where in the power rankings? So week 8, Aaron jumped up to first in that week. Matthew was in second. Tristan was in third. Luke was in fourth. Matt in fifth with a 5-3. Excuse me. Jeez, I just doxed him. Matt was in fifth with a 5-3 record. Connor was in sixth with a 3-5 record. I was in seventh. Aiden in eighth. Alex in ninth, and Zach was in 10th. Yet he had a 4-4 record, and I believe that's what I talked about for half the podcast, is whose team was better. So let me just freshen myself up. Week 8. What the heck? I'm so confused. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. No, that's true. Okay. I was looking at the wrong thing. So anyways, by the time week 8 was going on, I was probably going on about Aaron's team. His team was goated, and Aaron pretty much kept that up. From week 5 to 9, he scored over 110 points each week and got a win. So he went on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game streak where he won 5 games in a row. And that turned his season around, because he, through 4 weeks, was 1-3, and then through 9 weeks was 6-3. And then he went on again to win in week 10, a little more ugly though, 82-64. Then he lost, then he won, then he lost. So he finished the season a bit muted, nothing exciting. But that was more than enough to get him in the playoffs with the second seed, and he tied with Matthew to win the championship or division. Yeah, the loser cycle, not the championship, the division. That's Aaron's first division title. So big congratulations to him. And I guess the other story since then, it was Tristan's season just kept going as it was. I think we had been talking about how, his team was really good. He just couldn't find a way to win. And unfortunately for him, that just kept happening. Zach's team, he kept winning. Improbably, he just kept winning. let's see. Connor's team got better, but it was just too little, too late. Sorry, my computer's popping up with all types of junk. Gosh, get out of here. Matt's team, kind of fell off. He went from being 5-3 in week 8 to finishing 5-8. So he ended up losing the rest of his games, which was a bummer. Aiden wasn't able to make too many waves. That win against Tristan was kind of his last contribution to the league story. Matthew continued to excel, but somewhat similar to Tristan, just wasn't able to win a couple important games, and that's why he tied Aaron. I think Matthew could have taken sole. He could have, won the division by himself, but instead he's sharing the title with Aaron. And then Zach ended up winning the Dwight Army Champions. I don't know if I mentioned that, but he just kept winning. He kept winning, beating me in the rivalry game at the end of the season and all that jazz. Pardon my timer. So it was really exciting. The league came down to the final week, or the final 2 weeks. There was a message board topic about the playoffs, what would happen, because it was looking like we were going to have 6 teams finish at 7-6. There would be, if the scenario had played out, there would have been 6 teams at 7-6, 1 team at 8-5. So we would have had it would have been very complicated for our playoff structure. Playoff structure, if you want to hear about it, go listen to the preseason podcast. I'm not saying it again. It takes me forever to spit it out. So November 21st, I believe this was just after week 11. This was just after week 11. So we had week 12 and then week 13. So we had 2 weeks left to go. So with 2 weeks left in the league, we had a possibility for 6 teams to finish, and the scenario would have needed to go like this. Alex would have needed to win out, beating Aiden in week 12, Matt in week 13. Luke needed to lose to Tristan in week 11 and lose to Zach in week 12. Or excuse me. Oh, okay. So this was kind of written pre the end of week 11. Like I was kind of looking ahead. So this was before the Monday Night Football game. So Luke would have needed to lose to Tristan in week 11, lose to Zach, then beat Aaron in week 13. Zach would have had to beat Luke in week 12, then lose to myself in week 13. I would have needed to lose to Tristan in week 12, then beat Zach in week 13. Tristan would have beaten me in week 12, then needed to lose to Connor in week 13. Aaron would have needed to lose to Matthew in week 12, then lose to Luke in week 13. So basically losing out. So that would have caused quite a bit of conundrum. It didn't really pan out that way. We did have some good excitement, and there was a not a 6-way tie, but I think a 4-way tie. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, a 4-way tie at 7-6. It was myself, Luke, Tristan, and Alex that all finished at 7-6. But what came down to the difference was, and I had stated this, it was the points for. So we used that as the tiebreaker. So Tristan and I had more points for, so we both made the play-in game. And unfortunately, Luke and Alex did not make it, which is tough. No doubt, it is very tough to see the same record and to not advance through, and to slave all year long to get those wins. Fight tooth and nail, do whatever you can, and come up short in that way. I think it might be the best way. I feel head to head is a little too harsh, especially in our upcoming. It might have made more sense this year, than I thinking about it, based on how the leagues, the divisions were structured, where you play two teams in your league. So like Luke, I think might have made it over me if we did head to head. I might have made it over Tristan if we did head to head. And Alex might have made it over Tristan and or me. So head to head was maybe a little too confusing, but it maybe would have worked a little bit better. I don't know how to say it. But anyways, next year's structure where you're basically only playing one team, like you're only guaranteed to play one team, like that's going to be a bit too harsh to do a playoff tiebreaker because, you know what I mean? Like who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in that 1 week? You could have like 1 week where you're just not great and, you know, dominate your other weeks and then not make the playoffs. I don't know. I think points for is the way to go. It's, I think, a bit more representative of who your team is. Yeah. And so that's why Tristan and me got in. We played the play-in game. Tristan tried to put his juju on me. He was being all kind. You know, he flipped the script all season long. He was smack talking, saying he was going to kick my butt and all this stuff. And then he sent me texts and he's like, oh, I think your team's great. Like, you're going to win. He was trying to put all this stink on the game, but I didn't have any of it. I told him, no stink for me. Get your stink and take it out of here. And so, don't know. I think, you know, I don't know where I was going with that. But I ended up beating Tristan in the play-in game to make the final spot, to make the fourth spot. So it is myself against Matthew, and then Aaron against Zach. And so the playoffs got off to a hot start. Matthew came out swinging on that Thursday night game with San Francisco, racked up like 50 points between George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. So I was pretty much quaking in my boots at that point. And then the Saturday slate rolls around. Kirk Cousins at 1 p.m. Against the Colts. And at halftime, I've more or less accepted my fate. I'm not making the championship game. Yeah, like Kirk had like no points. Justin Jefferson had no points. And then all of a sudden, slowly but surely, Kirk and Jay Jetta scrounged their way back into the game for me. They fought tooth and nail and put me back into relevance. They got me a cheeky 50 points on the Sunday site. So it was like tied up going into the rest of the Saturday games and the Sunday games. And wow, was that exciting start to the playoffs for our side of the bracket. Now, we both cooled off significantly. I only wound up with 103.8 points. Matthew only wound up with 90.2 points. So we both very much... Okay, so I guess Matthew didn't have 50 points. He had 40 points from Kittle and McCaffrey. So it kind of sputtered out. We lost our heat, and really the game that got exciting was Aaron against Zach. Aaron ended up scoring 126 points off the back of an amazing Josh Allen performance and Ramondre Stevenson performance. And then Zach garnered 109 points with some teams like David Montgomery being the highlight. And Zach even said, I recall Friday, I was talking with him Friday night, he was nervous to be playing David Montgomery. He wasn't so sure, and sure enough, David Montgomery did it. But me and Alex did give him a little bit of a stink. We said, hey, why aren't you playing Najee Harris? And it turned out to be not that bad of an idea because Brian Robinson Jr. only got 4 less points. So Zach didn't really choke away too many points. Those points could be costly. We'll see. But Zach just played a very good game. He coached his team very well that week. And so that's kind of the game. I mean, I kind of want to say Zach won't be able to do it based on what we've seen from him. Based on what we've seen recently, he should be able to do it because in the final week 13, he smashed me like 130 points, and I got like 90. Like, he annihilated me. So if Zach can repeat, Zach can get another 130-point performance out of his boys, like, he might be able to beat Aaron and make the championship game. First time for him since 2016. And, but it seems like in reality, for what we've seen from Zach's team all season long, not being able to score points, Aaron should be able to close out this game with, he's got a 17-point lead. And so Zach's team, not known for scoring, he's going to really have to play some solid defense against Aaron. Aaron's going to have to get like 70 points or something so that Zach can get 90 and make it in the game. But it's tough seeing Zach's team do that, or Aaron's team do that. Is it possible? Maybe. Is it possible? Maybe. Do you want to know why I think it's possible? Because Josh Allen's playing in Chicago. It's a snowball, or at least a cold weather game. Ramondre Stevenson's playing in Cincinnati, another cold weather game. Kenneth Walker's playing in Kansas City, another cold weather game. CeeDee Lamb in Philly, cold weather. Jalen Walter in Green Bay. Are you serious? The Miami Dolphins in Green Bay? Forget about it. Cold weather. Granted, it's not nighttime, and I don't know if it's going to necessarily be snowing. Taysom Hill, Cleveland, cold game. DeAndre Swift, who's the only one who's playing, okay, and the Ravens defense in Atlanta. They're playing a couple nice games. So Aaron's, weather matchups are not looking good. And Zach's weather matchups are okay. Geno Smith in Kansas City. Najee Harris, though, Las Vegas. Saquon Barkley, Minnesota. Devontae Adams, Pittsburgh, Chris Godwin, Arizona. Darren Waller, Pittsburgh, David Montgomery against Buffalo. Maybe some home field advantage. Snow Bowl could be a lot of running involved. So Broncos at Rams and Younghoe Koo at Baltimore. Oh, Baltimore's at home again. No, that I think favors the defense. So Zach's defense, Zach's got, I think, a better weather matchup. I don't know about his individual matchups. Kansas City's probably a tough matchup for Geno. Vegas against Najee is probably a favorable matchup for him. Same with Saquon against Minnesota. That's probably favorable. And then, Devontae, Chris Godwin. Yeah. So that's kind of shaping up to be the game. And I thought I was going to have more to talk about, but I'm kind of getting to the point that I thought I was going to make at the end, where in last week's, so going back to mine against Matthew's game in NFL Week 15, I started D'Onta Foreman, who disappointed me. He got 0.9 points. Same with Pat Freiermuth, to be fair. Pat Freiermuth got 0 points. But I started D'Onta Foreman, and he got all of 10 yards. And I kind of said, D'Onta, thank you for your contributions. You did well enough, but it's time to part ways. I need some extra roster space to get a couple other guys that I think might just perform better. Oh, shoot. Keenan Allen's playing in Indianapolis. That's not great. Well. We'll see. Yeah, now I'm focusing on the weather matchups too much. I mean, Antonio Gibson and San Fran's looking a little bit better, because I could play Darius Slayton instead of Keenan Allen, and then slot in Gibson, who's playing in San Fran, or maybe even George Pickens, who's playing in Las Vegas Saturday night. Oh, now I'm thinking about it too much. Anyways, I ended up dropping D'Onta Foreman, and guess who went and picked him up right after? My competitor, Matthew. And not only did he pick him up, he's going to play D'Onta Foreman in the same matchup, in the same round one playoff matchup. Matthew will play the player that I just dropped. So it's time to see, will D'Onta Foreman, screw me over? Will he, screw me over? Will he step up for another team, a team that's not mine? Will we see how his loyalties lie? I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to step up and screw me over, because I just dropped him off my team. So I'd understand. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So the lineups are interesting. Kirk Cousins is starting right now for my team against Daniel Jones. So quarterback against quarterback. I've got Keenan Allen. Matthew's playing Mike Williams, so wide receiver against wide receiver. And that's it, pretty much. And then D'Onta Foreman, see if he's going to backstab me. Which, again, would be, understandable. And so that is kind of caught up, I think. So I guess just to recap, we had a great end to the season with a tight playoff run. My record is different than others because we played the play-in game in the regular season. So whoever makes the play-in game is going to be, going to have a little bit better record or like more wins maybe or more losses, whatever. So again, Zach finished first in the Dwight Army Champions, 8-5. I finished second with an 8-6 record. But I guess it's kind of like a three-way second between Luke, Tristan, and myself. Luke finished with 7-6 record. Tristan finished with 7-7 record. Connor finished 5-8. Yeah, we got to shout out Connor real quick. He had a valiant end to the season. He, could have given up, but he stuck with it. He really made a push. There wasn't a big chance, but there was a small chance as he was coming towards the end of the season that he might make it. Unfortunately, that window was closed when he lost. He just wouldn't have. He wouldn't have had the points and the wins to get into the playoffs. And then in the loser slack-offs, we've got Matthew at 1, Aaron at 2, Alex at 3, Matt at 4, Aiden at 5, and those records were 8-5, 8-5, 7-6, 5-8, 3-10. So, yeah, I've got some league superlatives written down. I don't know if I want to reveal them yet, but I'm not going to. But I do want to talk about one thing real quick. All right, well, I feel like a bloomin' idiot. I was just talking to myself, not even recording a podcast. I'm talking to myself when I'm recording podcasts, but it's even more embarrassing when the mic's not recording, because then you can't even be like, I'm recording a podcast. No, you're just talking to yourself. So frustrating. But anyways, I was just talking about how I've got this little stat that I've been keeping track of, and I recently updated it. NFL player appearances in the JL Championship game. So, who's been on a JL Championship game roster? Who's been elite? Who, has been the ones to lead these teams? Who to a chance at glory? And some of the names are great. It'll be interesting to see who goes into, from like the 2020-21 seasons, who goes into, what do you call it? Obscurity, I guess. Like Jarrett Patterson. No way we remember who that dude is in like 4 years. I don't even know who he is now. Salvan Ahmed. He was on Aaron's team in 2020. No way we know who he is in a few years. Marvin Jones Jr. will know who he is, but glad to see that he had a chance at glory. Again, Myles Gaskin. He'll never make a championship game again. Maybe not. I hope he does for his sake. I hope he gets better. Calvin Ridley. Are we going to remember him? Who knows? And then some of the names, throwback names. Great throwback names here. Okay, another name. Who knows who this guy is? Anthony Miller. All right, and then good throwback names. Calvin Benjamin. Remember him? Carlos Hyde. Taylor Gabriel, I was going on about who the heck is he? Jay Ajayi. Remember him? I remember him. Jordan Reed. DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray was, wow. 2015, the last remnants of the dominant DeMarco Murray era. Didn't win the championship, lost in 2015, but cool that he's going to be written in this pages of history in the Justice League. Tim Hightower, Eric Decker. The names are just nuts. The names are nutty. Who else? Sammy Watkins won in 2020. Wow, he was part of my team. Okay. T.Y. Hilton won in 2020. Alan Lazard won in 2020. Brandon Ayuk won in 2020. Jason Sanders won in 2020 with me. Man, he's kind of my dude. Maybe I should have kept him on my team. Mike Boone won in 2019. Anyways, this is a lot less fun now that I'm doing it again. But Frank Gore won in 2017. Julian Edelman won in 2016. Sebastian Janikowski won in 2016. People won't remember him, or maybe they will. I don't know. Chris Ivory. Chris Ivory's made it twice. Lost both years, 2017, 2018, back to back. God, what a name. Jordy Nelson lost twice, similar to Chris Ivory, but in 2016 and 2017. Todd Gurley 1-1. Spencer Ware. Wow, he made it in 2016 and 2018. Won 2016, lost 2018. James White back to back 2017, 2018. Crazy. Greg Olson 2019 and 2015. Jeremy Hill. I don't even remember who that is. But he lost with me in 2017, 15, and then won the following year in 2016. Let's look up who Jeremy Hill is. Running back. Wow, okay. He ran at LSU for 2 years. Was taken in the round 2 of the 2014 NFL Draft. Played for the Cincinnati Bengals from 2014 to 2017, then 1 year in 2018. So when he was on the Bengals. Interesting. And then just some names to cap it off at the top. Who's been most? Devonta Freeman. I think I've talked about this already, but just unreal. That guy made it 4 years in a row. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I feel like that just goes to show how good he was. To be featured on the, fantasy championship roster, 4 years running. So 2016, let's see, that was Zach's team, Zach and Aaron's team. He won with Zach, and then in 2017 he won with Luke. Pretty sure that was Luke's inaugural year, and he went out and won the championship. Or was that Matthew? I think that might have been Matthew. Matthew won the 2017 championship against Luke. And then let's go to league history real quick. Oh man, I'm going to sneeze again. I don't know what's in my nose. Yeah, Matthew won the 2017 championship. And then in 2018, Tristan snagged him. And then ended up winning the championship. And then he became a trader for Matthew. He went and beat Matthew in the 2019 championship as a part of Luke's team. So that's almost like, is that Chris Chelios? Or no? Oh, jeez. Maybe Chris Chelios. There's a lot of players that used to go back and forth between Chicago and Detroit. But, oh my God, his name's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. And then I think it also happened in, the Penguins year. We had someone on our... Marian Hossa is the name that I was thinking of. I feel like he always went back and forth between Detroit and Chicago. I think he won with Chicago. I don't think he won with Detroit, but he might have. Marian Hossa. Let's see. Okay, he's played. It doesn't give the years, which is annoying, but yeah, he did play. He won the Stanley Cup, in 2009, 2010 with Chicago. So, that's what I was thinking of. And then Odell Beckham Jr. has made it 4 times. And that, again, goes to show how good he was. Won twice in 2015, 2016. 3 times, sorry. Won 2015, 2016, and 2019. Lost in 2018. Tom Brady, he's won it thrice. 2015, 2017, 2019. Le'Veon Bell's been 3 times. Once, twice, lost once. Joe Mixon's been 3 times and lost every single time. Unfortunately, he won't be back this year. Michael Thomas has won it twice. The Bears defense has won it twice. Makes sense. Eagles defense has won it twice, and then the rest are 1-1. A couple of the major losers though are Jordy Nelson lost twice. Eric Ebron lost twice. Allen Robinson's lost twice. That stinks. Chris Ivory's lost twice. Leonard Fournette's lost twice. Josh Gordon lost twice. Tyreek Hill has lost twice. George Kittle has a chance to change his fate this year. Wow, he was on Aaron's 2020 squad? For some reason I thought he was on my 2020 squad. Let's take a look. Did I get that stat wrong? No, I had Noah Fant in 2020. There's no way Noah Fant played the entire season for me in 2020. That's just not possible. Yeah, I picked him up at the end of the season to play in that game. And he did well enough. Is he even on here? Fant. Yeah, he is. All right. a pretty good job keeping these stats. Anyways, who else? Christian Kirk has lost twice. CeeDee Lamb's lost twice. Dang, yeah, CeeDee Lamb was on the wrong side of the roster 2 years in a row. He was really, he did really well for Aaron's team in 2020, and then I drafted him. He did really well for my team in 2021, but he was on the wrong side both years. Wow. So anyways, that was just a little, I guess, stroll down memory lane there. Yeah, that's it. I hope to get another podcast out, though. Shoot. I want to return to the League 2022 office. Okay, good. I'm there. I'm a bloomin' idiot again. I've done it twice. I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember. Just hit the button twice. Anyways, jeez, I have to go over this all again. This is stupid. I'm so dumb. I was basically just going on about how, I'm trying to try to do one more podcast. It's basically like a second chance, though. I get a second chance to be a little bit more concise. Now that I'm saying that, though, I'm veering off topic and talking about how I could be more concise when I should be being more concise and not talking off topic. Meta. So there's still some drama to be had, Zach, can he pull out the win? Can he pull up the 17-point comeback? Matthew, can he pull out the 17-point comeback? Or will Saturday be shutdown days for Aaron and me? Are we going to shut down any hopes of Zach and Matthew making it? Is Aaron going to return to the final just 2 years after making it in 2020 and losing? Will I be able to make the final just for the third straight year? That would be exciting. I'm not going to, get my hopes up, but that'd be fun to have made the final 3 straight years. Will Matthew make a return? His first time back in since 2019, so 3 years ago. And then will Zach be able to make it? It's a long road, but if he could, rise from the ashes. I mean, it's been a rough 6 years for Zach in the Justice League. I don't have the exact stats on him, but let me just go here real quick. What was his name last year? I choose young kids, yeah. So Zach, ever since, it's only going back to 2017, but 2017, jeez, his team performance has dropped poorly. He finished 3rd place in 2017. He did very well that year. I just want to see if that's right. Yep, that's definitely right. So he won. He won in 2016, followed up with a good 3rd place in 2017. But since, he's gone 6th place, 7th place, 9th place. He rose back up a little bit with a good 5th place last year. So more team insights. So 2017, he only had 6 wins. 2018, he had 7 wins, which I guess is better. Then he only had 5 in 2019, 2 in 2020. So, I mean, truly like returning from the depths in 2020. And he did so well in 2021. It was the team of destiny, and he just couldn't make it happen. I mean, he scored 1440 points last year, which is crazy. I mean, it's fantastic. And he was on pace to score a stupid amount of points. So anyways, a lot of drama to be had. I definitely want to get back on for one more podcast. Hopefully get the guys on it to at least recap the season. It's been a rough season for podcasting. I just have not had the time. A lot of busy stuff happening. Been gone over a lot of weekends. And it's a bit tougher now with my living situation to record a podcast. So anyways, best of luck. Best of luck to all the competitors out there. Best of luck to everyone not in the Justice League, in your own respective leagues. Hopefully you're still in the playoffs, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully it is a postseason. Hopefully it's not in 2 months. But yeah, good luck, good evening, good night, God bless.